All right, let's dive in. There's a new kind of war brewing in the high-tech world of photonics. And thanks to some incredible analysis from HDIN Research, based on 2025 SEC filings, we're getting a front row seat. Now, this isn't just about cool laser beams, okay? This is a high-stakes battle for dominance in industry, in AI, and even in the future of warfare itself. So, you ready? Let's meet the players.
So on this battlefield, we've got three totally different fighters. First up, you've got IPG Photonics, or IPGP. Think of them as the old guard, the established champ, with a balance sheet that's basically a fortress. Then there's MKS Instruments, MKSI. They're the infrastructure giant. I mean, their tech is absolutely essential for the whole AI and semiconductor revolution. And finally, you've got nLIGHT, ticker LASR. They're the growth challenger, this super agile upstart just feasting on a huge wave of new defense contracts.
But before we go any further, let's just get a sense of the scale here. Because the revenue numbers, well, they paint a pretty stark picture. MKSI is a nearly $4 billion behemoth. IPGP, the incumbent, is sitting at a very respectable $1 billion. But look at LSR, the challenger is just a fraction of that size. And this size difference is absolutely key, because it makes their aggressive growth story that much more compelling.
All right, now for the tail of the tape. We're going head-to-head, digging into the hard numbers from 2025 to see who really has the edge here.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. HDIN Research put together this resilience ranking, and it tells a fascinating story. MKSI, they actually grabbed the top spot. Why? Sheer financial power. They can fuel their growth even with a ton of debt. Then you've got IPGP at number 2, and their superpower is that fortress-like balance sheet we talked about. It's all about stability. But then there's LASR. Look, despite that insane growth potential, they're seen as financially fragile. They're in third place because they rely on outside money to keep going. It's your classic high-risk, high-reward play, right?
So let's zoom in on that challenger story for a second. We're talking a 60% year-over-year surge in their main business, aerospace and defense. You know, this isn't just growth. This is a strategic takeover of a market, and it's all being fueled by the massive demand for next-gen military hardware.
Now let's look at how the giant MKSI funds its whole operation. A staggering 54% gross margin from its Materials Solutions division. Seriously, this isn't just another part of the company. It's a high-profit cash cow. It's this powerful engine that's driving their entire strategy in the AI and semiconductor game.
And then you have the old guard's defining feature. IPJSP is literally sitting on a financial fortress. They have over $800 million in cash and investments and basically zero long-term debt. In a world this volatile, that kind of stability gives them a huge war chest and some serious staying power.
So with these companies having such different financial DNA, you got to ask why? Well, the answer really lies in the core technology. You see, fiber lasers are like the scalpels of modern manufacturing. They offer this level of precision that old-school tools just can't touch. So to understand this war, you have to get that each of our contenders wields that scalpel in a very, very different way for totally different markets.
For the incumbent, IPGP, the whole strategy is about finding new battlefields. They're facing some serious price pressure in their traditional industrial markets, so they're pushing hard into these high-growth areas, like the EV battery boom. They're also expanding into new applications like laser cleaning and making their tech way more accessible through partnerships for things like handheld welding.
Meanwhile, MKSI isn't just part of the AI revolution, they are basically building the infrastructure for it. You see, as AI chips get more and more complex, the demand for their specialized vacuum and chemical solutions just skyrockets. They are the ultimate picks and shovels play in the AI gold rush, profiting from the boom itself, not just one winner.
LASR, on the other hand, is playing a completely different game. I mean, their growth is all tied up in the world of directed energy weapons and anti-drone systems. And here's the crucial point. Their success isn't driven by the ups and downs of the economy. Nope, it's driven by geopolitical tensions and defense spending. It's a truly independent cycle.
You know, these individual company stats are just one piece of the puzzle. To really see the whole picture, you have to understand that this entire industry is being reshaped by two massive forces: the explosion of AI and the realities of a new geopolitical landscape.
And this breakdown just shows you how all-in LASR is on this new defense paradigm. A full 2/3 of their revenue comes directly from aerospace and defense. This isn't just a side business for them. It is their entire strategic focus. It's a massive bet on the future of warfare.
This one phrase, This is everything you need to know about MKSI's strategy. Their goal isn't just to sell a part, it's to be an absolutely indispensable partner at every single step of making a semiconductor. From vacuum chambers to chemical etching, they want to surround that wafer, making themselves totally irreplaceable in the chip-making process.
But of course, these new battlefields come with brand new risks, and the abstract threat of geopolitics becomes very, very real when you see a number like this one. MKSI lost up to $250 million in annual revenue just because of U.S. export controls on China. That is the tangible cost of this new tech Cold War. And that risk? It's spread all over the board. For IPGP, it's a direct hit to their profitability from tariffs. For MKSI, it's a huge chunk of their revenue exposed to a very volatile region. And for LASR, well, the rules got so strict, they had to shut down their China operations completely. No one is immune here.
So, after all this analysis, what's the big takeaway? Well, we can kind of frame the conclusion as an investor's playbook, helping you figure out which one of these contenders aligns with your own strategy.
So when you boil it all down, you're left with three really clear choices, right? Are you going to bet on IPGP, the unbreakable fortress? It's stable, but you're dealing with slower growth and some really tough competition. Or do you go with MKSI? They are the essential supplier for the AI revolution, but man, they're carrying a lot of debt and are tied to that crazy up and down semiconductor cycle. And then there's LASR, the pure play on explosive defense tech. The upside is huge, but you have to be okay with the financial fragility and the fact that they're basically all in on government contracts.
And that really brings us to our final question. As this whole laser war unfolds, who's actually going to win? Will it be the stable incumbent that's banking on financial discipline? The agile challenger with the most advanced weapon system? Or the infrastructure giant who profits by supplying all sides of the conflict? The answer? Well, it's going to define the future of this entire industry.